Not a lot of people believe in me, like, to make it. So, like, that's what motivated me, like, just to prove them wrong.
Justin Tajon Edwards, born December 16, 2023. Justin Edwards is a former top 3 recruit leaving high school in 2023 ahead of 2 future lottery picks in the same draft and a handful of first-rounders. Of the 58 picks in the 2004 NBA draft, Edwards did not hear his name called at all, becoming the first top 3 high school recruit in history of internet-era rankings to fall out the first round and go undrafted, according to CBS Sports. Being a top recruit certainly puts you in a space that makes the next 8 months a breeze onto the NBA in the one-and-done era, but only if done correctly. Edwards joined a Kentucky team with a star-studded 2023 recruiting class that included 2 top 5 commits in Edwards and Bradshaw, 3 top 10 prospects including DJ Wagner, also 4-star internet sensation Rob Dillingham, and 4-star Reed Sheppard, the latter 2 becoming top 10 picks, while Bradshaw and Wagner hit the transfer portal and Edwards, of course, the NBA draft, betting on his potential and high school achievements. And achievements they were, winning a city championship as a sophomore, state championship his junior season, and of course being named a McDonald's All-American, Mr. Basketball for Pennsylvania, and high ranking to close out his high school career. At the time, Edwards was a listed 6'8" small forward with all the tools to garner the hype needed for the word potential to start being thrown around. It's one of the more unfortunate elements of rating young players. The player shows the ability to be placed in a certain mold and it catapults their expectations. In basketball, you see on paper a 6'8" small forward with a smooth lefty jumper and able to be explosive and athletic on the high school level, and immediately you're excited about the possibilities. He at least physically is built to be a star. The stories and write-ups start to be written about him and ups his ranking and stamps the word potential across his chest like a badge of honor and ticket to the NBA draft. But so far, I think Justin Edwards' story is a cautionary one of getting it wrong from the start, specifically with his potential and expectations. At the combine, his 6'8" listing in high school and college fell to actually 6'6" on NBA.com. He recorded the worst lane agility times along with poor running times and a standing vertical of just 28 inches and max 32, all below average. After going undrafted, Edwards said he's still confident he's the best player from that draft and is out to prove everyone wrong. He signed a 2-way contract with Philadelphia and is averaging 6.8 points per game, 40% from the field, 31 from 3, 2.5 rebounds, and more turnovers than assists at 20 minutes per game in Summer League. Justin Edwards bet on himself, but with such few guarantees as an undrafted player not shining early on, things might get shaky for his future for these reasons. What happened? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Justin Edwards is a 6'6" small forward shooting guard from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania that over the course of his high school career played his way into being a top recruit. He led his team to consecutive state championships as a junior and senior. Over that time, he was recognized as the best player in the state and chosen to represent the top 24 players in the class at the classic McDonald's All-American game. Kentucky didn't have to recruit him hard, seeing as it was his dream school and the main reason he signed with the program, despite being able to attend any school in America and even a chance to go straight to the pros playing for the G League Ignite. At Kentucky, he struggled with more than basketball long enough for his name to lose all its luster and cause him to have to make a huge decision by the end of his freshman year. Stunt number 1, betting on a facade. I think the biggest result of Justin Edwards' transition from high school to college basketball was it showed everything rated about his potential was misleading. First off, going from 6'8" to 6'6" is a huge deal and the biggest setup these kids go through today. Sure, it looks good on paper, so the prospect isn't going to complain, but at some point when real money is potentially invested into a player, someone's going to take real measurements, and that is where everyone involved becomes disappointed. It can also tank a draft stock, and I think that played into Edwards going undrafted. 6'8" means you're in the LeBron James small forward area, where you physically can match up with the bigger wings on defense and also can get your shot off on offense against wings and especially guards when there's a switch. The perfect 3-and-D guy, a term thrown around just as much as potential as of recent. Falling to 6'6" puts you in a position you're too small for the small forward in most cases, the height of an ideal shooting guard realistically. A huge difference specifically with Edwards because his game style matches that of a small forward. His quickness is way below average, and this all showed when he was measured at the draft combine. In college, he got the chance to at least see how all that doesn't translate to higher levels, immediately falling below expectations at 9 points per game through the first 10 games. Then had 9 straight games where he failed to even score in double figures. He says he was dealing with his mental health and losing confidence, dealing with as he says, being angry that he wasn't meeting expectations, and that all weighed on him and affected his play. He played better the final 10-12 games, but by then it was too late. He had played so poorly all season that those games didn't matter. He was an afterthought to Dillingham, Sheppard, and also Reeves by then, to where he should have returned to school for a sophomore year. He needed to build on the end of the year he had a school he wasn't fighting so many highly touted guards for shine and could be the team's star and build confidence like DJ Wagner decided to do. He instead bet on the facade surrounding his potential and was rudely awakened. Stunt number 2, lack of pro talent. In the words of my guy Jaylen Brown, I don't think he's a pro. Edwards and players like him find it easy to dominate high school basketball, where your advanced develop physical structure, youthful health and energy, ability to play in a comfortable environment, and the prospects of what's to come can cause a player above average to thrive. But when basketball starts to become a business by the time college rolls around, you get to see the cream rise to the top, as they say. Edwards, in my opinion, doesn't have the cream.
This story's great, but pause, bro.
Good.
We've already mentioned his disadvantages against bigger players both in height and weight at his position in the NBA, but also his measurements at the combine that were all a disappointment, and an important but underrated factor, his demeanor and upbringing / confidence, attitude, and outlook on life not being that of a guy that pushes through the wall instead of sulking in the corner, overthinking why the wall is there in the first place. Mental health is a serious issue, but in sports, depending on how you deal with it, can negatively affect your play if you let all the noise get to you, and that's what Edwards has shown the propensity to do. It affected his year at Kentucky, and although he says all the right things, in my opinion, if I was drafting this player, I think the noise would be too much for him in the NBA as well, leading to a wasted investment. I don't want to call him soft because he seems like a good kid. It just takes more dog than good kid to get through where he is at this point, which is fighting for a roster spot and likely out the league sooner than hoped. He's shooting 31% from 3 in 6 summer league games, averaging 6.8 points per game and 40% from the field, adding 2.5 rebounds and pretty much nothing else. For a guy who thinks, or at least says he thinks, he's the best player from the 2024 draft, something isn't adding up. What is clear is he doesn't have pro to his game just yet and needed another year to build his mental health and confidence. Stunt number 3, not playing well in Summer League. With Summer League regular play coming to a close, enough of Edwards has been seen to conclude he performed well under expectations. He said the team informed him they just wanted him to go out there and guard and be himself. When you're an undrafted prospect, that's where it starts for you, and Edwards hasn't stood out in either of those. But to elaborate on what the team means when they said be yourself, is they were looking forward to seeing him be more like the top 3 prospect in high school that everyone said he was. NBA teams understand college basketball just isn't for everyone, and Justin went to a program that focused on guard play and had a few guards perform much better than expected in Dillingham and Sheppard. Falling out that group of successful freshmen, the Sixers were looking to see him get back to playing in the open floor with a now chip on his shoulder to will himself to being one of the best this summer. His play may still earn him a few games this season in the league, but more than likely he's looking at the G League this year, and who knows from there, as it's still early and he's going to be just 21 in December 2024. Hopefully he can still make the roster, but his summer league play definitely stunted those chances. All in all, Justin Edwards at least has an opportunity. He'll need to show more dog, more of a high motor and sense of good energy, not the slow-footed energy he's still displaying. He needs a great year in the G League to get his potential back, or Philly could be the end of his NBA road. Hopefully he does get a good chance, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. Salute, much respect. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.